But he was talking about your like changing the environment because you're a product of like the influences around you. I was thinking a lot about that because like with chaotic people in your life, you're gonna have chaos in your life.
Motivation is overrated. Environment often matters more.
That's what it was. Environment matters more.
Like if you want to learn guitar, put the guitar in the middle of the room.
Right. You want to not eat 6 cookies and don't have the cookies on your kitchen table, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm one of those. I got a seafood diet. Seafood, I eat it.
But I do with my kids. I have no snacks, so that way they don't. They're looking in drawers, but they're not ever gonna.
You're not gonna find it. Oh, yeah. I think like the he talks about having a place to do things, and I'm definitely one of those people. Like I now, when I go home, I can't work when I'm at home. I'm like, I'm at home now. I'm done working.
Yeah.
And I'll try, and it never works out. You know, even on the weekends and stuff where I'm like, oh, I'll just take my computer, I'll do some work at home. I mean, I might do 5 minutes at home, 10 minutes, but it's not productive, you know?
It's like going to the gym. You can do push-ups at home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can run up and down your stairs or run around your own block, but it's nothing like being.
Yeah. And some people are different, right? And I think that's a big part of going through these books is figuring out what personality you have, what are the things that connect you to your habits in this case, and understanding that if you are an environment driven person, then yeah, it's probably not super likely that you're going to work out at home. If you don't, if in your mind it's like, you know, I just work out better if I'm at the gym. And I've probably been on both sides of that. When I was, you know, there was a time when, you know, the gym was literally not even a block away. It was like, you know, a 3-minute walk from my apartment. So I'd get home, put on my gym clothes, and I'd just go to the gym. And I'd do that. And I had, you know, I did like 20, 30 minutes of 20 minutes cardio. 20 minutes cardio, and then another, you know, probably 20 minutes just free weights, and then I'd go home. And then I was like, okay, I'm done. I did it. I went to the place I needed to go to get this done. And when I was working from home years back, my thing was I get up in the morning and I go for a walk. Sometimes that walk would be 30 minutes, sometimes it'd be 90 minutes. And I just walked until it was time to go home, right? And I was thinking about it actually just this morning. I'm like, you know, it worked for me then because I didn't have to be somewhere at a certain time. Like, you know, I was already at work.
Yeah.
You know, I was already there. I didn't have to, there's nobody waiting for me to show up, right? So the being able to just kind of get up and go do that made sense for me then. And I think part of why I struggle with it now is because my environment changed and I didn't deliberately set up a new routine when that environment changed, right?
Yeah. Deliberate, that's the key word. We have to be deliberate about what you pointed out something I did. And you said there was just that one little thing that I forgot to put in front. And I was like, oh, that's right. If I had just, you know, I would have hit that next thing I wanted to do. And it was so simple when you pointed it out.
So easy to point out.
And now I don't remember what it was. I was like, dang, I
If
gotta
you have
remember that.
somebody pointing out your flaws in life, take it as a blessing. If it's done in the correct spirit, it can be. So
It was given in the correct spirit. It was enlightening, and I now I've forgotten it.
yeah, because we didn't write it down. So one of the things that I've done is I started a couple weeks ago. My thing was I'd wake up at, you know, call it 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning to go take a piss, and I always check my phone when I do that. And what I was noticing was I would check my phone, and then it's like, oh, it's 3 o'clock. Fuck, I'm gonna be up in like an hour, hour and a half, and I'm tired. I don't really want to get up in an hour and a half, so I would literally turn off that alarm and set a new alarm for an hour later, thinking like, yeah, I'm gonna get another hours of sleep because I want it, right? So inevitably, I was never getting out of bed at the time I was wanting to, because I always found it easier to sleep some more. So I started 2 weeks ago. I was like, okay. And this was when we just learned this habit. I said, okay, I'm gonna write this down. When I get out of bed the first time, I'm gonna take my phone, I'm gonna put it on my dresser. I'm not gonna look at it. I'm just gonna put it on the dresser. Now we have a clock in the bathroom, so I know what time it is. But I was like, all right, I'm just gonna put it on the dresser. That way, when I fall asleep, like now when the alarm goes off, I have to get up and get it. Or if I'm not sleeping, when I get out of bed to get my phone, like I'm just gonna get up.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna wait for the alarm to go off if I'm laying here and I can't sleep, then just get up, right? And I started I started with that, but then I realized I wasn't specific enough. So when I get up when my alarm goes off in the morning so that I can get in the tub, and that gives me energy and a positive attitude. So I noticed that the reward now for me, and I'm trying to make it the reward for getting up and going out there, it's because I can feel it. Like I feel a difference on the days that I do that. Way different than the days when I'm like, oh, fuck, I gotta get up. I got an hour to get ready, get out of here. Right. It's a whole different life. So, but it took a couple of iterations of this writing down this intentional habit. Right. And it's like, let's have it stacking. Right. Well, what do you do every day? Well, I get up, go take a piss, and I look at my phone. Okay. Well, let's put the phone over there. So next time you get up, you have to get up and go turn it off. And once you're up, right.
Yeah.
And then it was, okay, well, that wasn't quite enough to get me to the next step. So there was one more. So,
If anyone wants a way to, like, I know getting up out of bed is the toughest, can be the toughest thing, but if you get up and walk outside right away, that's crazy, and stand outside and do like a 5-minute breathing exercise meditation, you will be wide awake before you drink a drip of coffee. I still drink coffee in the morning, but that that diffuses like a lot of whatever you're thinking about when you wake up. I'm always thinking about what's going on today, and other like personal stuff, work stuff. But that 5 minutes at the beginning of the day can change the whole course of your day. It's noticeable.
yeah. And he talked last chapter about, make sure that it's, what was that habit loop thing? We printed it out. It's right here. So the cue, the craving, the response, and the reward, right? So the cue is, well, I got out of bed, right? The craving is, I want to have a good day, right? And then the reward is the good day, right?
Yeah.
I think there's a lot packed into that. And this week was about not just that part, but the environment part. Like, you just got to recognize some people, they can do, literally could do anything, anywhere. It doesn't matter where they're at, right? I'm very much a location person. Like, I'm at work, I'm doing work stuff. If I'm at home, I'm doing stuff at home,
You're
and
at the grocery store. I mean, there's certain ways. Yeah, you're
Oh my
very
gosh.
habitual. You gotta start it at the right aisle.
I do that too.
Yeah.
I have like a little.
yeah, your route. Yeah.
Yeah.
First time she was grocery shopping with me, she's like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is how I do it. So I know I get the shit that I need to get. And the coldest things are at the last thing I pick up. So when I go get my groceries back, I can get home before my fucking ice cream melts.
Yeah.
My wife has the list and the order. That's it.
I do
That
too.
is
That's
in the
funny.
store.
Yeah.
And then she puts it in the bag in the reverse order that she put it in the fridge.
Ooh, that's good.
And she's taking it to a whole nother level.
That is amazing.
It's like,
That's
for me, I'm just pushing the cart. That's the only thing I do.
That's gotta be so therapeutic though, right? To be able to go home and you put it away in the right, that's cool. That what a reward. That's my thing, is remembering to look for the reward. I have a hard time with that. I always forget the rewards. I need to eat healthier. I need to get up on time. Why? I'm not thinking of the reward. So the reward helps a lot.
That is so funny. I love that though. Like, the grocery shopping thing.
Yeah.
That's a whole new level. I never
I
would
would
have done
get
that.
it. Yeah.
I used to put the list in order of where it was at in the store. So when I go through the list, I could literally just, right?
Then when they rearrange the shelves, you're like, ah,
Yes,
what
yes.
have you done?
Yeah, fucking Costco.
But he also, when in the shopping cart, I'll just throw it in. Everything is in
Yeah,
order.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like
exactly.
perfect.
It's
in
like
the cart.
building a foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like you, I'm Sean's like my wife.
Yeah.
When I go
I
shopping
just thought-
alone,
I'm like, what's the
Bananas on the
list? What's the
bottom,
list?
you're like, what are
Yeah.
you doing?
What's the shopping list? I thought you just go to the
Just
grocery
wander
store.
through. and do
oh,
what
I
you
want
need.
that.
Walk around and see what you
Good.
want.
Yeah, it actually, I mean, used to be fun for us to go to the store together. That's just something we used to do every week, right?
Mhm.
And now we don't do that anymore because there's other things taking priority. Less time more than anything, right? But it is interesting though, like that environment thing. And that was this week's main topic was like, hey, if you know that you've got to be at a certain place in order to do a certain thing, then you need to be in that place. Like, don't try to force yourself to do something that doesn't make sense to your head or your body when you get in that environment, right?
I think on that point too, you and I have been strategizing about this for a long time. Let me just check who's on the meeting real quick. Okay. So
I am here, just so you know.
It's not YouTube, right?
all right,
Everyone's on
yeah.
the meeting.
All right.
people
Offend who
that
you
you're-
need to offend.
people that you're surrounding yourself with and working with, is a big deal. So your environment, your influences that he talks about, the people that are successful in breaking a bad habit are not exposing themselves to the influences that cause that bad habit. Like he talks about the lady who smoked when she rode horses, or whatever it may be. Maybe going to a concert makes you want to drink, or doing X causes Y. So don't try to limit your exposure to that environment, and you're gonna have to depend on your self-control less. So those are the successful people that are literally using less of their self-control power because they're not having to exercise it. They've removed themselves from that equation. And we can take, we kind of know this. We want to put ourselves in a situation where we're working with the best possible clients, clients that are they pay quickly, like all the positives, and are understanding, and have the same mindset as us. The same thing goes with all other, good municipalities, everything,
Mhm.
Yeah.
So identifying those problems right up front, learning our lesson and moving on is
Yeah.
big.
Yeah, a negativity, right? I mean, I one thing from Brandon and Grant is about defending your space, right? Just relentlessly battle negativity. Like, and sometimes it comes out in places you don't expect, and but I'm super sensitive to it, a little too sensitive maybe sometimes. But it's important to me, right? I don't want shit in my life that's going to bring me down.
Yeah.
And I have, as a person, have grown up in such a way that there's certain things that you don't even realize you're letting in. It's just there, right?
Yeah.
And figuring out, like, cutting the people out of your life that are not contributing to being a better person. Right. A lot of people, like, the whole, oh, I've been friends with this guy since we were in grade school. It's like, okay, well, why? Is it because it's grade school, or is he like a guy who constantly pushes you to do something new and something bigger and something better? And we're somewhat, I think, in society kind of conditioned to like, oh, well, that's like the thing. It's like, oh, I've had all these friends for the last 30 years and we always do the same thing together. And it's like, okay, so you haven't moved on from 30 years ago. When we did this a couple of years ago, there was a a party, right, that we got invited to. We're like, yeah, okay, let's go. And it was, people that get together every year, and it's like we got there and it was like, oh man, this is not our scene. And so we just never went back, right? But for them, like they're stuck in this spot in life because they're just with the same people doing the same things over and over and over and over again. And then they never get anywhere. And it's like, well, you keep putting yourself in that same environment, you're not going to get anywhere, right?
Right.
So I like that.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit yesterday, like kind of the high school friends versus
Yeah.
which you kind of like have a broad spectrum of, and then you get your college friends who may be like a little bit of a narrower group. Then you got your professional work friends. That might be even a smaller group, and the more that group gets more dialed into kind of focused, because what I noticed in my high school friends, there's more of a defeatist mentality to where the world is against you. There's no point in doing this. What's the point? Why try? You're gonna fail anyway. Look at where you came from, and then shedding that off, and then deciding, okay, who do you want to surround yourself with? Is it that mentality, or is it the mentality that goes back to the environment? When you're growing up, it's wherever your parents decide to live and wherever they decide to surround you. But later, you decide. You pick. And you can replant yourself in a new pot or stay in that old pot.
Yeah, there's a statistic about, I think it's like 70% of people have never moved beyond 5 miles from their original place of birth. And and it's like, wow. No wonder you can't find anything new. You haven't even left the crib yet.
My nephew did not leave kind of Fremont, Union City, Hayward, those 3 areas until he was 18. First time. After, it was just that in that area.
The little bubble, the bubble boy.
The little bubble. Yeah.
I just texted you guys all this X account that I stumbled across. It's called Dear Son. I texted it to the Deus group. It's a good account to follow. It's got a lot of really inspiring memes about hard work and stuff. And I was just thinking of that while we were talking. But maybe more geared towards men, but it still has some pretty good messages,
Yeah, I think we all have. We regardless of sex, you fall into your group that you feel comfortable with, maybe, or you feel like there's some emotional stuff about like, oh, well, I should be a better friend. I should be talking to the same people that I talked to 10 years ago. So, nah, you're not being a bad friend. You just outgrew them. Like you're in completely different places.
And if you are,
it's okay.
Right. You may come back around. Like you don't have to force it. Because I think that, like you were saying, you think you're kind of alluding to, is like we kind of force it. Oh yeah, well I went to college with them, so we should be friends.
We should be friends forever.
There's a lot of my college friends that same thing as that party you guys went to. I'm like, geez.
Yeah.
Still.
This is ridiculous. Well, you are the sum. You are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Yeah. So if you spend your time with a bunch of people who are broke, guess what? You're going to be the richest broke guy in the room, right? If you spend your time with people who complain, then you'll be a complainer. And it's not a bad move for you to be selfish enough to put yourself in a better place. And I think that's kind of the crab effect. We talk about, like, as society, it's like you see somebody moving and it's like you're getting grabbed and they want to bring you back to their hole, because if you get out, like, what's their excuse, right? It's kind of like, I've got this friend and she's always had man problems, right? And so recently I've been watching her Instagram posts and stuff, and it's like, she's still hanging out with the same group, doing the same things that always find her the wrong man.
Is that the one you almost hired before?
Could be Gina,
Yeah.
Gina Marie. She's awesome, but man, it's like I look at her Instagram post, I'm like, oh, still going to the bars. Oh, still going. It's like
Which is the reason why we didn't pull the trigger pretty much, I think.
probably, yeah. So
Yeah, the important thing is you have a choice.
Yeah.
You decide. Continue with that same cycle or kind of really think about the big picture and change course.
yep.
You
And
know,
defend your environment, man.
one thing I've noticed of going back to Grant and mainly Grant, because I know Brandon probably talks about this, but Grant talks about being a freak and being like way outside the box, right?
Yeah.
I don't know the exact words he used, but I think he's used freak before.
Super freak.
I've noticed some of the stuff I've been doing on my own combined with what we're talking about in here. When I'm amongst normal people, I say some stuff that's like pretty wild and people look at me like I'm crazy and
Yeah.
it's all public information. Go look it up or
Yeah.
just on certain more
Yeah.
maybe conspiratorial things or on the mindset stuff. I see people just literally just like collapsing the world on themselves. I watch the opportunities right there and they're just, they've shaded the blinds down and they're not going to do it. They're letting a little obstacle, like I had a buddy, he was having to get a PayPal account stop him from something. I'm like, it blew my mind. I'm like, man, it's a couple clicks.
Or fast track. I know people that just don't get fast.
Yeah, it's like these little things that. Why are you asking me if I have a PayPal account, dude? I don't, but I mean, if I needed one, I would get it, and you would have it today,
Yeah.
and it would be done with.
Yeah.
It blows my mind.
Self-imposed roadblocks. My
Yeah.
father's a perfect self-imposed roadblock guy. Like he literally has built so many roadblocks for himself that, I mean, he is completely stuck, and it's all because he created the roadblock.
Yeah.
So we could all do that. All right, well, let's see. We have monopolized this time at this point. Scotty, I would love to hear what you had experience this week with the book.
Don't worry, I was just sitting here soaking up some wisdom nuggets.
There you go.
The only thing that what really stuck out to me is this kind of the last line here. It says, if you want behaviors that are stable and predictable, you need an environment that is stable and predictable. And it's so true. If you're trying to make something happen, you got to be able to fall back on a predictable and stable environment that this is going to happen when you do this. And that was what I took from that chapter mainly.
Yeah.
Right.
100% true.
So, but yeah, I mean, it's you just got to keep putting in the work. And when you have that stable environment and you're putting in the work, you're going to get the results. And just keep going.
You think about it, look at the extreme other side of the case. You wonder why the homeless couples walking down the street screaming at each other because their environment, and this is most likely self-imposed and drug imposed in most cases, but their environment's completely unpredictable. They're not safe anywhere. So their emotions are heightened. They have this cognitive distortion going on of everyone's out to get them because in a way they're like kind of are because they're breaking the law no matter where they go. Like, so that a lot of it is that lack of stable environment combined with,
Mental
chemicals, mental stuff, chemical issues with drugs or whatever. And you get this crazy blow off where you see that happening. It's like, well, yeah, there you go.
And then the other thing is Aaron, when you were talking about your morning breathing, it's so important just because one thing I've learned, I read a book a while back called Breath by James Nestor. And it talks about how breathing is the number one most important thing you do in life, but you forget about it all the time because it's automatic, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Automatic.
your the next most important thing that's vital to life is water. You know, they say you can go like a few weeks without eating. You can only go like a day or two or something without water, or 3 days or whatever it is. But you have to breathe within 5 minutes at the most. If you go longer than that, you're gonna die.
Yep.
So breathing is the most paramount, but we forget about it so much. And when you start being intentional with it, you get so much more out of it. And so that, reminded me of that book when you were talking about your breathing first thing in the morning and being real intentional with it. And that's, another thing I do also is I started following, I don't know if you've ever heard of Wim Hof, but he's a cold therapy type of person. He's
Mm,
from like uh, Sweden or somewhere where,
Viking, nice. That's
yeah,
cool.
like somewhere super, super
Yeah.
cold. I don't remember exactly where, but he does like cold
Valhalla.
plunges and breathing exercises. So
Sick.
yeah, pretty cool dude.
I read this book, Liquid Luck, last week, and it talks about abundance and gratitude and love and all this stuff. And there's like these mantras in there that you can pretty much, you're talking to yourself while you're breathing, and it's a lot about manifestation. I would highly recommend that one. I think it's like a 4-hour book on Audible or whatever.
What was it called?
Liquid Luck.
Is it
Okay.
liquid luck or liquid gold? Liquid luck.
Liquid Luck.
I
Yeah.
started listening to it and then I forgot because it's in
And
my.
I'm not sure I think he's Liquid Luck by Joseph Gallenberger. I've seen Sean has the Cardone Dawson combo talks a lot about abundance too, and Sean has talked about it since I started here, and he talks a lot about abundance in that book. So the the people that are thinking in the right realm of like where I think we should all be are talking about the same things. That when I start to see convergent theories, and if you, not to quote Kamala, but if you imagine a Venn diagram and there's overlapping things, like it's like, okay, well, this guy and this guy are talking about abundance and manifesting success, and the most successful people manifested that abundance and received it. That's when I start to, my eyes perk up and I'm like, oh, okay, there's something to that.
And that's exactly what really started to get me convinced that we were on the right. No, let's stop saying that I was on the right path. Is that, you hear Grant talk about it, and then you hear Brandon talk about it, and then, John Maxwell,
Mhm.
and then it's, the beyond positive
Yeah,
thinking.
exactly.
And then you start to cue in that all of these guys who are super successful, in one way or another, they're acknowledging like the same concepts,
Yep.
right? And they're doing the same things. Everybody's got a different approach maybe, but the principles are there, right?
Yeah.
The principles are there. So it's kind of like, ignore it at your own peril. It's like,
Right.
you can say it's bullshit if you'd like and continue to live a bullshit life, or you can say, okay, well, there's something to it, and start living that way. So I agree 100%. You can see it, it's obvious. And then, I think the being very, very vigilant about defending our space. Like, I think the most important thing we look for right now in this group is, who are you? Like,
Yeah.
are you going to be in here and are you going to add to this, or are you going to come in here and try to drain it?
Right.
And I think that hopefully, as we continue to move, we can be vigilant to keep that as part of our culture, so that we always are looking for the right people, not just a person. And
Yeah.
I've done it 100 times where you keep that one person Cause you're like, you haven't given up on them yet, right?
Right.
But then they end up just like bringing the whole group down because it's them, right? It's
Yeah.
not us, it's you,
And
you
then
know?
it's causing PTSD for all your other poor people.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's a lot easier to keep them out than it is to get rid of them once you've already got them in your,
True that.
you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, Michael.
How's
what
it
do you got
going?
for us today, man, from sunny Florida.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm a firm believer in your actions create your outcome, right? And kind of to tie back into what you guys were saying, there was a line that stuck out to me that the environment is the invisible hand that shapes human behavior. And you guys were saying something, you know, you hang around people that are broke or just have a poor mindset, you're bound to be the next person that has that same mentality. You know, I believe when you get around a group of people who have the same mindset, the same perspective, want the same growth, that energy amplifies.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what I got. That
Yeah.
line stuck with me, you know, because I was guilty for hanging around with bad people previously, and went to the desert, changed my life, and you know, pretty
40
much.
days in the desert.
Well, yeah, right. I learned how to disassociate, really, and just do what I had to do. So
Yeah. And it's so easy to fall into that trap of, oh, come on, man. I never see you anymore. How come you never come over? And you feel bad, and you go, and you're like, oh my God, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
So, all right, guys. Well, I appreciate everybody taking time out and doing this. This is probably my favorite part of the week, because it's a time where everything else goes away and we just talk about what, something meaningful and something life-changing. So thanks for showing up.
Yep.
So,
I love it. Thank you guys.
Thanks.
all right, see you soon.
Later.